Today we're going to discuss getting over the fear of jumping new jumps.
Yeah. One thing you gonna learn about me, ain't nobody putting word like me. Can't drip, can't sauce like me.
What is going up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Someone dropped a comment in the last video and said, how can I get over the fear of jumping? And I thought this would be a perfect one for me to talk about, because growing up I was a huge jumper. I loved jumping. I always had goals to be the youngest to jump certain things, so I really feel like I can break down my process of attempting a new jump, and maybe you guys can take something away from that and it might be able to help you. So first things first, I am about to go inside and do a little bit of gym. It's going to be a very small workout because I'm going to go to the track, do some jumps, and I'm going to do gates at Gympie tonight. Warm-up. It's not at all what my warm-up usually looks like, but what's up, everyone? We've made it out here to the track. We're back at Hinterland, and today we're going to discuss getting over the fear of jumping new jumps or big jumps. For up and coming kids, obviously there's a lot of progression on tracks. You can go from jumping step ups or tabletops to step ups to doubles to triples and so on. And then if you're a pro rider, when you head to new tracks and stuff, there's obviously a lot of new pro jumps and stuff. Like Grand's coming up next week. There's only one pro jump, but it's a massive jump. So today we're going to discuss how I get over the fear of jumping, how I got over it when I was growing up as a kid, and we're going to go through some examples of what you can do to jump bigger jumps. Let's do it. Step one of getting over the fear of jumping, we're going to call micro win. This is like, for example, we're going to use this triple right here because we can break it into multiple sections. The first step you would do is you'd come into the triple and you'd probably just pump it with speed just to get a feel for your speed. The next micro win can be then manualing up the step up, and then we can go up to jumping. Most people, if they were looking at jumping this triple, they would already be able to jump half of it. The next micro win after that, I would say, would be coming into the lip and just popping a little bit further but with less speed. So instead of hitting it flat out and hoping you're just going to land on the step up and then pump through, come in a little bit slower and see how far you can pop with no speed. Because if you start landing up there and you're going a lot slower, you know that with more speed and more pop, you'll be able to jump the whole thing, and it'll build that confidence in your head. A major problem with jumps like this is the mental aspect. So if it was a tabletop and it was that length, most people would just jump it straight away. But the fact that it's a triple is what gets inside people's head. Or pro straights, for instance, because they're a gap and there's usually grass or just loose dirt in the middle and they're not rollable, is why it becomes such a mental block. I would say just hit it multiple times over and over, and then throughout these runs you'll then gain a lot of confidence, and then it'll help you get over the mental aspect, and then you'll be able to commit. Right, so as you can see there, I did a pump run, a manual run, and I did a jump run. So now at this point, you should roughly know what the lip's like, how it's going to throw you, how it's going to kick you, and so on. And it would be very easy to say, just don't think about it and send it, but we got to be realistic, and most people aren't like that. So if someone's just telling you to send something and you're not comfortable doing that, make sure you take a step back and do what you're comfortable with. If you need multiple runs to build confidence, then go for it, because each run you do that you get smooth into the jump and then you can feel yourself carrying enough speed to do it, you will get more confident over time. It's like any skill. A lot of the time, if you look at a jump for too long, it can psych you out. So I'd say best case scenario is that you do a lot of runs into it so that you can build that confidence, and then when you decide that you're going to jump it, then just commit. So right now, I'm going to go around, I'm going to do a slower run and pop a little bit further, just to build that confidence of knowing that I can get further even with less speed, and then we'll go from there. All right, so as you can see there, I just did a little bit of pop and I was probably going 50% speed and my front wheel landed into the backside, into the up ramp, sorry, of the lander. So if that was you trying a jump that you've never done before, that would give you a fair bit of confidence that if you went as quick as you could into it, you'd probably at least get your front wheel over. That takes us into step number 2. Follow someone that you're confident knows what they're doing and how to do it every time, and then you can gauge your speed off of them. Unfortunately today, I'm the only one riding, so I can't follow anyone. But this does take a lot of the guesswork out of it, because if you follow them in and you're not falling behind, then when they jump it, you know that the speed's there to jump it if you commit. So I obviously can't follow someone in, so I'm just gonna do a fast run and get a feel for how the lip's gonna throw me, and I'm just gonna control it and jump the step up, going as fast as I can, and then see how much confidence I get. So as you can see there, I went in as fast as I could, and it was actually very hard for me to jump as small as just half the jump. So that gives me a lot of confidence that if I lifted like I did before when I was going slow and had that speed to match it, then that should carry me all the way to the lander. All right, so step number 3, I would say, is visualize. I know this sounds a bit kooky and a bit weird, but it's something that I used a lot throughout my career, and I know a lot of other pros use all the time. And it's a great one to use when jumping, because it can give you a lot of confidence when you're sitting here looking at a jump you've never done before and you're trying to get over the fear of doing it. If you just sit for 20 or 30 seconds, I usually would just sit on my handlebars like this and look down and close my eyes and literally just think about going in there, doing the perfect run through every jump and clearing the jump perfectly first go. If you visualize and in your visualization you make a mistake, restart until you get it perfect, and then replay that perfect visualization over a couple times, because then it's crazy how much power your mind has, to the point where you'll start to relax and calm down, because in your mind you've already done the jump that you're trying to do. It might sound weird, but next time you're trying to do a new jump, try that, see if it calms your nerves and gives you a bit more confidence going into the jump. All right, so I've visualized what I'm going to do, and now I'm just going to go in and I'm going to do it. And that brings me to step number 4, focus on technique. Number 1 priority, and a thing that I tend to see a lot, especially at this track here. This is a jump that a lot of people are constantly trying to achieve. One of my younger riders yesterday, Eli, did it and got it really clean first go. But when he was even doing runs, he was trying so hard to get so much speed and momentum for this jump that he was forgetting about all the others. My biggest tip would be take the run 1 jump at a time, because a lot of people will focus ahead to this jump, but there's another 3 jumps ahead of it that you've got to get right in order to even get to this jump to think about trying it. So when you're doing these runs, try and come out of the corner. You already know that ultimately the goal is to jump the triple. Come out of the corner and do 1 jump at a time, perfect 1 jump at a time. And then when you come into here, you'll have the perfect run, the perfect speed, and then you can commit to it. And another thing that people also do is they will do perfect runs up to it, but the moment that they say they're going to commit, they will rush everything. So they'll come in and they'll push their manuals too fast that they end up nearly over manualing and losing speed, or they'll try and rush to get their front wheel down to get maximum pump, and then they'll tag the top and they'll end up trying at 110%. You got to remember, when you're doing a jump, going 110% isn't the answer. Sometimes going slower is actually better, because you time jumps better, you get better pop, you nail all the technique properly. So my biggest key would be never try and do a jump going 110%. Just accept that your 100% is enough to do what you want to do, and you're capable of doing it with just giving 100%. Don't try and override to achieve an extra result. So I'm going to go up to the first corner now, and I'm going to start at the very end of the corner, so I don't have much run in, don't have much speed. And this is a perfect example of I have to be perfect on all the jumps in order to clear this, because I don't have a big run up. And there you have it. I just set the prime example. I literally just set it to the camera. I've done this sport for 20 years and I just made the same mistake. I got to the first jump in the straight, did an extra pedal because I was panicking about speed. Then I pushed way too hard, nose cased my front wheel into the lander and lost all my speed. I literally tried so much less than. I actually did the whole straight and I'm nearly puffing less than when I just did one jump. Step number 5, I'm focusing on the lip. So my biggest tips would be when people are hitting a new jump and they're a little bit scared of it, or they're timid, or they're being cautious, they'll only half extend up the lip. Basically what they'll do is they'll start their compression from here and then they'll only hop to here. So they're basically doing this. So they're not gonna get the maximum pop, and then they wonder why they're not getting the distance they need. We gotta remember that jumping a jump on a bike is the same as jumping a box jump essentially. All the power really comes from this top triple extension. So it's like knees, hips and ankles extend off the very top of the lip. So we wanna start here, start bringing our weight up as the lip goes, and then when we get to the top and the projection of our body weight is going up, so that we get the little pop at the top, which gets us the projection across the jump. Without this little pop, all of this bit is useless. So we gotta remember, start the jump here, but don't finish here. We gotta start here and finish all the way up there to be able to get across the whole jump. And this is something that a lot of people won't do when they're trying a new jump, because that doing this full triple extension at the top of a jump is scary and requires 100% commitment. But you just gotta remember, when you're trying a big jump that you think is almost your limit, you have to have full commitment, and that's gonna be the safest option. My next little tip as well will be, when you take off, or as you're taking off, put your eyes on the lander where you want to land. This is the same with manualing. You wanna spot where you're gonna put your front wheel. When you're jumping, you wanna look where you're gonna land. If not, you're just gonna kind of project yourself to anywhere. When you're looking ahead to where you wanna land, you will take your body there and it'll project you forward. Because another mistake people make is when they're jumping a new jump, they will jump straight up and then wonder why they're not getting the distance. When we go off the lip, we have to project our body forward and then bring the bike with us. So just remember, when you come off the lip, full extension, jump, then let the bike float up to you, eyes on the lander, and then you can compress into the lander and make it nice and smooth. And that is session done. Just remember, don't be too hard on yourself. Sometimes things just don't go to plan. And like, I've had jumps in my lifetime that have taken me months to jump. So don't expect that every time you go to a track with a plan and a new jump that you want to do, that it's going to happen. Be adaptive, be willing to learn, be willing to make mistakes, try over and over and over again, because that's how you get better. You can't just have a solution that makes everything work instantly. Some things will take a long time and a lot longer than you anticipate or want them to take before it happens. So just be willing to roll with the punches and figure it out, and just be consistent. Don't give up, keep trying. If there's something you want to do bad enough, if you stay at it, you'll do it soon enough. So hope you learned something from this video. Hope you can take something away. And again, if you enjoyed, like, subscribe, share with your mates, and hopefully we can continue to make more of these videos. Bye.